Welcome to the Soul Navigators Podcast. I'm Dr. MonaLisa Coburn, and each week we explore the living wisdom of one consciousness through grounded, soul-led conversations. The themes we explore are inspired by my book, The Joy of One Consciousness, but this space goes far beyond the pages into real-life application, healing, and awakening. So take a breath, settle into your heart, and let's begin today's journey together. Hello everybody. Kati and I are honored to be here, and we can't wait to get started. So we are in beautiful California, and we just want to, for you listeners, just to have fun, to increase your awakening wherever you're at. So feel free, and a little bit later in the podcast, if you want have questions for my spirit team, come on in, or you can just type them in the chat. And what else do I have to say about that? Also, mediumship. So perhaps there's someone across the veil and you want to see if I can pull them in. If it's for the highest good of one consciousness, they'll come in loud and clear. So with that, Kati, is there anything you would like to say or add?
Hi, we're so happy that you guys are here with us today. This is a nice one. We realize that we've done a couple of these, but do you truly know who MonaLisa is and what her background is? So I'm super excited for her to share that with you because it's very special. She's very gifted. So she's in Northern California, I'm in Southern California, and thanks for being here.
Yeah, so I thought last time I had what I call a mini near-death experience. Some people call it a near-life experience because no one actually pronounced me dead, and it wasn't that big of a deal. I was about 16 or so, don't know the exact age, and I popped out of my body and I could see everyone from above and had those kind of experiences. And I did have those as I was growing up. I had some really what I call cool experiences. And I think when I talk to people, this is one that a lot of people can relate to or they've had and they've never shared. And it was when I was really little. I remember just as a consciousness, right? I'm still sleeping in bed and I'm going up and down my street. And we lived kind of in the country when I was little. So there wasn't a lot of lights and I felt it was kind of scary. And then we moved across town, and right in the near neighborhood when I was asleep, I realized it was still dark. But there were places I could go and it wasn't so dark. And we lived about 2 hours away from San Francisco Golden Bridge. It's this huge monumental golden bridge. And so I love water, love the ocean. Well, what are you to do when you're a kid astral projecting about 13 and 14 years old? You're going to go to the water, what you love to do. And so one particular night, I remember as I was flying over the Golden Gate Bridge, looking down from above, I saw my dad had an antique truck. It was a very unique truck. And I saw his truck on the Golden Gate Bridge. And the thought occurred to me, what is my dad's truck doing on the Golden Gate Bridge? And about that time, our phone rang. And you have to understand, this is like in the 70s. And so the phone rang and I popped back into my body, and it feels kind of like you jerk when you pop back into your body. So I jerked or whatever, and I woke up as I went back into my body. And I waited a few minutes because we had the old timey phones. It's landline time. And then a few minutes later, my mom walks down the hall and I said, Mom, who's on the phone? She goes, it's just the cops. They stopped someone on the Golden Gate Bridge with your dad's truck. So there I was, astral projecting. And that just really taught me that kind of reinforced in that moment I had that was like a near-death experience that I could pop out of my body. So astral projecting is part of my life. It's something I really enjoy doing. But I also, like many people, I had no idea what awake even meant. I had no idea what spirituality was. My mom was a Baptist, so I went to different Baptist churches growing up. And we never mentioned it. We never talked about this kind of thing. I tried a couple of times to my mom. Like, that's just something teenage girls can do. So I don't know if I swept it under the rug, but it was there. And I really thought that experience where I popped out of my body when I was really sick and I heard everything, exactly what happened and who said what, that was proof to me that you're still alive after death. But I went to a very scientific college at the time. I thought perhaps I might go into nursing, and I'm kind of condensing the story. It didn't quite unfold like this, but I took psychology, advanced psychology, anatomy, biology, took all the sciences. Love chemistry, by the way. So in each class at that particular college at the time, university, it was university, it was like I would ask questions around my near-death experience without saying what it was. And my advanced psychology teacher said, well, those are just neuron firings. And my anatomy teacher was avid. Look, here's dead bodies that we're working on. This is what happens when you die. It's just over. There's nothing. So I really felt that a little lost as I graduated with a BA, that they had totally explained my near-death experience as if it was, I don't know, not the truth. So fast forward a few years, I had 3 kids, began to substitute teach, and my sister, Naomi, Albert Naomi McAlpin, she passed away in 1996. So I already have a BA, I already have 3 kids, and she passes away. And the baby is in the right side, in the passenger. When I say baby, in 1996, my youngest one was 3 years old. And I thought, I didn't know what a third eye was at all. I told everyone that I saw an angel as clear as day outside my car window, who was my sister and who was very frail and very sick when she passed, but she was beautiful and just gorgeous and looked like an angel. And she said, slow down. And it was so real. I answered her back. I said, what did you say? And I heard very clearly, slow down, and Mom needs you too. So Katie's laughing because she knows the rest of the story. So the rest of the story is that I, in my heart, thought, okay, if I tell anyone, they're going to think I'm nuts. They're going to think I'm crazy. But I did slow down. And as I turned the corner, until I slowed down, I only had my right hand on the steering wheel. And I put both hands on. Baby, car seat and all, flops out, hits the right hand off the steering wheel. And I grab the baby. Of course, she's fine. And we pull over. And then I'm still like total denial that this has happened. Yeah, my sister on the other side just saved my baby, just saved my life. And I go throughout my day and I'm trying to make horse sense of it in my head. And the next morning, I couldn't sleep. Next morning, about 7 a.m., I'm like, sometimes my mom couldn't sleep and would get up early. So I went and called her. And I said, Mom, how are you? And she goes, it's funny that you're asking. Today, I'm okay. But yesterday, I cried all day missing your sister. And I've asked God and asked God for a sign. And so I told her the story. We both cried together. She goes, here, I've been asking for the sign, and it was given to you. And I didn't know at the time how to reply to that. So I just kind of repeated the beautiful story that it was, that my sister saved me and my baby. And she said, thank you. But in mediumship, as my mediumship grew, that is how spirit works. Spirit will take a situation and it will make it so that it's the most bang for the buck. Yes, it was answering my mom's prayer directly, but it was saying, hey, you know, when you had those out-of-body experiences, when you saw your family from above and you heard from your heart that you're okay, when you felt that white light wrap around you, that wasn't neurons going off. And looking back at it today, that mini near-death experience did not awaken me at all. But looking back, it's proof to me. It's living proof. It's a knowing that I was still me. I felt still like MonaLisa. And so at that time in 1996, what is a person to do? Went to our little local tiny bookstore. Think I got a book from this guy named Wayne Dyer and another one, Don Miguel. And so slowly, very slowly, I tell people, like, think of a freight train. It started turning me around because I was so conditioned that for me, the Bible, you know, I was told over and over again, the Bible is the ultimate truth. And the ultimate truth is the truth written upon your heart. The ultimate truth is that we are eternal souls. And many religions do teach we're eternal souls. But the problem that that many religions have, and so I went ahead after I did a long stint as a special education teacher and earned my master's degree the slow, the painful way. I got my doctorate in divinity because I wanted to understand religion more. And there's a few things about religion I love. The core of 99.9% all religions on the planet teach love. They teach that God is omnipresent, which is everything, everyone, everywhere. But they don't explain it. They don't explain God. But at the core of most religions, that so I appreciate and I honor religion for teaching people love. And you will also find some other common threads in most religions. Like most religions do involve angels. And so that is a really beautiful thread that most religions have in common. And so as I'm going down this slow train track of turning the train around, teaching in public school, loving my students, and what I found with all children is that they are glorious teachers. No matter what we think is limitations is actually often the easiest way I can explain it is beautiful soul agreements to crack their soul open. So my sister, who had numerous disabilities mentally and physically on this side, she was the first person with mediumship I was able to have conversations with. She was the first person to tell me, we choose that path to grow our soul. We choose that path so people can learn how beautiful it is to breathe, how beautiful it is just to be, to teach people that being able to eat and run and these kind of things are gifts that we give ourselves when we come here. And it's also, like I said, a way of a soul putting themselves in such a tight box that what's left is love. So she had the most beautiful smile. She continues to lead and guide me. She was the first person I ever verbally channeled. I channeled her for about maybe 6 months. And then she kind of filtered out. And I got my glorious team, spiritual team, which didn't come in with the name. And I asked them, can I call you Xand? And they said yes. And at that time, they were about 100,000 angels strong from what they told me. And I wrote a little book called Downloads from One Consciousness. And once I wrote it, they said, now we want you to teach it. They asked me, will you please teach this? And so I'm getting all choked up because if Spirit asked that, that's God asking you. And I'm honored to do so, to teach One Consciousness. I teach it through my writings, The Joy of One Consciousness. I teach it through my academy, which is online. And I really teach it through my intuitive work with mediumship, with my healing ship, which I bring in your guides, and I do an energetic healing. And the reason why I do energetic healings, like all healers, is that the idea is that we line up our energy with source, and we allow you to line your energy up with the source within you, because we all are from love. We all are energetic beings. And so that's kind of how we get sick. So first, something is our energetic field that most people know as your aura, or you might know it as your chakras. You might know it as your soul. So things hit our aura, our field, our energy first, and then it seeps down into the physicality. For our human part, our humanness is just a small crystalline piece of our soul. So we are souls, and our little teeny fraction of us is in this human form. So it took me a while to turn that train around, and it was nothing quick. And the more I talk to people, the more I hear from others that's the way it happens. It happens kind of like a slow train turning itself around. If you can imagine a freight train with 1,000 cars turning around, it takes some time. So that's kind of like my awakening. I want to say at the heart of it has been my sister. And now I have 4 brothers and sisters on the other side. Also at the heart of it, one of my lead guides is I call my Uncle Bill. No blood relationship. He's part of my soul family. And he is very much responsible for helping me get in the seat right here, right now. So, yeah. So that's kind of my story. I went on a little long. Katie, did you come up with any questions or anything?
I do have a question. So maybe explain, the term one consciousness. Like, what is one consciousness? How would you explain it to someone hearing it for the first time?
So there are several ways to look at what one consciousness is. If you go through all the ancient texts, they all say, I'm hearing Archangel Michael right now in my third ear saying all that is. Okay, so God, source energy, is all that is. And so that's what the archangels call. You can look at it as an internet that lives within us, around us, through everything. So how I channel, how I do mediumship is I just tap in to the one consciousness internet. Scientifically, really briefly, think of the quantum field theory, and the quantum field theory is basically the best way I can explain it is think of an atom, and at the center of an atom you have the nucleus, and then around the atom you have an electron. And so the electron just doesn't just stay there. It is like a cloud, a field, a mist that floats around the atom. And so what is else in that atom? If you were to make an atom a size of a grain of sand, so think of an atom as the size of a grain of sand, and think of a very empty football stadium. And this stadium is totally empty. Around the stadium is where you would have that electron, where you would have that electron as it goes around in circles, where you would have the electron mist or the electron field, if you will. So what's between the electron that's going around and that grain of sand or that atom? That's 99% space. And so if you really think about it, that's how our space really works. That's how outer space works, is what I'm saying. So out in space is like 99% space. If, you know, and the rest of it is just planets going around stars and galaxies. And so the galaxies, the star systems, and the atom all mirror each other. And they have one thing in common: the 99.9% space. That's a lot of space. And so because it's a mirror, the atom, the micro of the, if you think of the cosmos of a galaxy, of the macro, because they're a mirror of each other, you know, that's what I call sacred geometry. But back to that. So in that space, in every atom in our body, we have 99.9% space. That's a lot of space. So if you think of it that way, well, what's in that space? That's where the quantum theory comes in. And that, they say, is potential. So what you do with your energy, Spirit says, is what you put out. So the ancient idea of your energy, what you do with your energy, what you put out, comes back to you. So you think of everything else. If you put out joy and happiness come back to you. There can be no other way. So how does all this work? In all that space, there is all that is. Because all that is everything, everyone, everywhere, even in that empty space. And in that empty space is potential. Potential for healers to tap in to heal. Potential for mediums to tap in to their family and loved ones. So that space isn't empty. It's full of potential consciousness. And once you can tap into that consciousness, and with your intent, and the higher the degree of love, the easier it is to, the higher degree of love within you, I should say, the higher degree with love within your heart, it is easier and easier for you to tap into that space, into that internet, if you will, because the highest frequency is my team, which is my guides, my angels, my angelic teams, say it's love beyond what we can fathom here on the planet. But in all honesty, we are part of the great one. So every time we have an experience, we grow all that is. All is the one and one is the all is a short, easy way to think of one consciousness, or to think of it as an internet. If you want to go down the quantum theory rabbit hole, I have classes on that in my academy, and you're welcome to join, and we'll get you there.
So thank you. And they are great classes, by the way. So tell our listeners, what is probably the biggest misconception people have about one consciousness, and how does understanding one consciousness help transform their life?
So I think one of the biggest ones I hit on, if you think, and a lot of scientists or those new to it, that's just energy. So what I've seen people who are not living in the heart space tap into it, and it have a negative effect. So if you tap into this one consciousness and not know what you're tapping into, then often you will get nothing, right? So, and it's also limited by your beliefs. So you think one consciousness doesn't exist. One consciousness is going to mirror that back to you. That's why I'm saying it's limited by your beliefs. If you, this is real, and how do you know it's real? The best way you understand that it's real is through your own life experiences. And often when people come for like intuitive services or a hypnotherapy session with me, I talk to them, and they have a whole handful of things that have happened to them, but they don't know that it is from one consciousness. They don't understand that is their angelic team. I had someone recently who had someone at the foot of the bed who came and saw me and said, I don't know who this was at the foot of the bed. I'm freaked out. And so, because I can tap in, I tapped in and I let her know who that was. At that particular lady, that was her guides. It's often your higher self. It can be your higher self. It can be your guides. I tell people, if you don't know who it is, you can always say mentally, or if you can get it out with words, it's better. If you're not of love and light, in the name of all that there is, be gone. You can say it however is comfortable for you. In the name of Jesus Christ, be gone. In the name of Vishnu, be gone. Whatever source you are tied to, you believe in the name of one consciousness, in the name of the 0 point. If you're not of love and light, be gone. And what I find fascinating is that when you tap into this one consciousness, they'll come in and they'll say they come in of the infinite creator. And so that's another name that they have for this one consciousness, is the infinite creator. And I'm sorry, I got on a rabbit hole again.
It's okay. It's all divine timing. What's meant to come out is meant to come out. I just, I think it's really important that some people do have an idea of what one consciousness is, but sometimes it's not what they think it is. So I think it's really important to let them know, like, how can they begin experiencing it for themselves? What does that look like? And how does one consciousness help us navigate fear and separation and uncertainty? Because, when we start doing this and stuff, we even are like, did I just make that up? Or is that really coming through? And then we realize, oh no, it's the real thing coming through. So yeah. How can you tell them, like, just what that's about?
So when you first tap in, you will have experiences that you don't, she's talking about, don't understand. Yeah. And so I did it with, I often will get clients who see spirit and they don't know what it is, because they think grandma's going to show up as grandma. Yeah. And what they see at the foot of the bed is it could be a light, it could be an orb,
Mhm.
And know that certain things are what I call soul agreements. So for those who want to go in the deep end, in this particular episode, we're not going to go there that much. Uh, if you want to talk about negative entities or aliens, um, my team has told me 95.9% of all aliens are positive, right? The good, they're of one infinite creator. And there's kind of like a positive bubble around the planet at this time. But that doesn't mean that, negative. And they're asking me to please not to use the word negative. So I've got to watch it. So they're saying the way that they look at those entities that are still of the one infinite creator, they are in service to self. So they're all part of the one, but they're mirroring, for most of us, the opposite of what we want. And so that's what people are afraid of, is that little teeny tiny bit. So that's why I kind of mentioned it when you're first starting new to this thing, and you might see something that you don't know what it is. If it's not grandma, because it's just a gray glob at the foot of your bed or a gray light, you can say in the name of the one infinite creator, or you put in your own word in, be gone, and they're gone. If it's of love and light, you can say, those of love and light drop into the heart space. And so the best way to do this is to practice it right here, right now, so you understand what I'm saying. If you want to know how to tap in and how to know it is a positive, it is of love. And so those of the one infinite creator of love and light, light and love, your angels, your guides, and there's a plethora of angels. We can do a whole show. That's a show. Yeah. Well, let's do a whole show on angels and guides. So you really want to tap into them, right? And so one way is you can just go into your heart space when you see that glob and say, who is there? If you don't know, if you can't see who it is. And that first inkling, that first name, it's called following your intuition, is who it will be. And often you'll get something like grandpa, something very simple. That's it. Go with your intuition. So how do you tap into one consciousness? It is so simple. People ask me this 100 different ways. It is of positive, meaning of anything positive or neutral, such as peace, calmness, compassion, joy, bliss, friendship, kindness, goodness, anything that we on this human plane that deal with polarities, we came to Earth to deal with the polarities, we consider positive. It is from one consciousness. It is from source. It is normally from your higher self. So who is your higher self? Your higher self is you in spirit. So it's your soul, right? So it's your soul that's across the veil, that you are just a little teeny crystalline piece. So the one way you tap into this one consciousness is, my team calls it, by following your positive energy stream. And you're to do this. We weren't taught this. No one was taught this. And I will tell you that this isn't just from me and my team. If you haven't been out there, a lot of channels, a lot of those channeling the angels and so forth have different ways they say this, but it's the same story. It's the same thing. The positive energy stream is all you got to do. So throughout your day, let's say the first thing you do is you wake up, and you don't know if you should have eggs, or you don't know if you should have cereal. And you just think, you know what? I really feel like cereal today, even though you normally eat eggs. That's following the positive energy stream. You follow that intuition. Now, if it said, I really want to crack eggs and throw them on the floor, well, that's not from source. That's not from your higher guidance. That's from what I call your mind, your ego, your monkey mind. So if it's anything on that downhill slope, that is just limited beliefs. It's the negative seeping through. So to follow one consciousness, to learn more and more about one consciousness, is just learn to begin to follow your positive energy stream. And we all tap into one consciousness when we do those things we love to do, and time flies. So I absolutely love to walk. It takes me like no time. I go for a walk every single morning, and it's the quickest hour of my day. The other thing I love to do, I normally go right into a channeling session with Xand. Once again, quickest minutes of my day. Why? I absolutely 110 zillion% love to do them. Then when I do my mediumship or my intuitive services, once again, I absolutely love it with all my heart. Time flies. When you do things you love, no matter what it is, and time flies, or afterwards you feel more energetic, you are tapped into one consciousness. You are tapped into that positive energy stream. So how did I do explaining all that?
You did fabulous. One of the things that was coming up for me, it's something that I learned, 15 years ago when I started this journey, is that when you do see spirit or a figure or something, Hollywood really screwed us up, I think, in that.
Oh, yeah, that's a great point. That is great.
Yeah, because sometimes you'll get some, like, I remember getting my first, like, okay, that looks kind of weird and kind of freaky, but it's not. Again, it goes with that feeling of, let me get past the cover of the book, right, so to speak, and really just kind of feel like, what does this feel like? Get into your own body to see what it feels like. And even if it might not have like an angelic face, doesn't mean that it's a bad thing. So I think that we're so programmed from Hollywood and from scary movies and things like that. And that
great point. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, when you see it, it's like it's all different. And you're just like your spirit guides, they're all different. They come in different forms. So yeah, the first thing is don't freak out, because it could be a really important message for you and learning point for you to get into yourself and to feel that feeling of, what is this? And of course, if, like you said, if it feels very, use negative, but feeling negative, then you know what? You say your mantra and your prayer and you get it out of there. But I always, and you can always do this too, is I start my day with protecting my own energy. And it's 30 seconds, it lasts, it's great. And so I don't have a lot of those things that pop in anymore.
Yeah. So at some point, likely your team will even come in like they did to me, and they said, don't worry about it. You're covered. You're covered. You're covered. So like Katie was talking about, in the morning, say your prayer or your own mantra. One of the ones that I say is, thank you for another day. Thank you for leading the way. Thank you for your love and light. And may today, everything that falls on my path, it shall be for one consciousness and for the higher good of love and light. And so then I know I'm protected. And so that's how I start my day. I normally say something like that every day. And I'm off and running. So yeah, it's just, and so I, sometimes even when I get in the car, I'll say, Archangel Michael, I know you got my back. I know I'm protected. But on that, this is what my team has said to remind us, is that you're not going nowhere unless your time is up. And your time is up. You picked it on the other side. So wherever you are in your journey, enjoy it. Enjoy it, enjoy it, enjoy it.
Hey, can we bring Xand out?
Oh, yeah. I'm sure they're biting at the bit. Yeah.
I know.
Okay.
Well, because it's amazing. And I love when we get Xand and he gives they give us, our messages and such. So.
Okay. So, and for the audience, I'm just going to go right into it. It just takes me a few seconds because I'm already hooked up. But like I said, the easiest way to explain them at this point, there were over 100 million and angels strong. So they've kind of grew from that little group.
Yes, grew fast.
Yeah. Okay. Let me go in. Let me take a couple deep breaths and we'll be off. Hello, 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 dear ones. We're Xand. We are pleased to be here to dance with you in this now through all reality. We send you all love, all love, all love, all love. And who are we? You can just consider us of the angelic realm and of light and love and love and light of the one infinite creator. We bring deeper knowledge to impart to you so you can make your way into the stream of your life, perhaps easier and easier and easier with this love, with this light. And this is what we would like to talk about today, very briefly, is that the channel was mentioning when you follow your positive energy stream. What we would like to add to that is like go with the flow of your life, to realize that your life has a flow. Think of it as water that ebbs. And sometimes if you're on the water, sometimes that wind blows and you go fast, and one needs to kind of regroup and take breaths and realize where you are so you can grow your soul and then continue your journey. But so the essence of that is loving where you are, where you're at in that moment, and to continually go with the flow of your life and to trust the unfolding. Trust that your higher self can see beyond time and space and knows exactly where to get you for your highest good.
Sam, thank you so much for being here. Why are more people awakening spiritually now? And what's the biggest misunderstanding humans have about themselves?
So, as we have mentioned before, the consciousness of the planet has risen. Mother Gaia has gone into fourth density, and think of it as a flame. If you have a flame and one candle into the night, how far that candle can light the way. And so, in that candle, and with that one candle, think of all the other candles you light. And so that is what's happening on the planet right now, is that many are waking up. Many are waking up, and with their candle lit, they are lighting others. And so one of the there are many, we would say, there are many things that those who are coming into their awakening might feel are stumbling blocks. And one is, I thought everything was going to be a bed of roses. And we remind people, don't roses have thorns? Just because you're awakened being doesn't mean that you didn't sign up for certain soul lessons to get to. So as your life unfolds, it is about how you perceive it. It is about how you take in what's on the outside. It's reminding yourself as you go through your daily life that life is a mirror. Life is a mirror. Life is a reflection. And you can also look at it as your ancient text about how life is a dream for the soul, or use what we say, life is a field trip for the soul. But even on field trips, sometimes let's say you're in a bus, the bus will get flat tires. So life still happens. And so that is one of the big misconceptions and how people get veered off of their awakening. We love to remind people awakening just simply is that you realize you're an eternal soul, and you realize this life is, you may call it whatever you want. You may call it it's a production for your soul. You may call it a game, like a video game. You can think of it as a video game, or you can think of it as a dream for the soul. You can think of it as a breath for the soul. For that is how quickly, if you think of all the time throughout eternity, you can think of the single life span that you are having as a quick breath for your entire soul. So it's over rather quickly, but the experience you take back to your home, you take back to home with you, to spirit world.
Beautiful. How much of our life is predetermined and how much of it is free will?
So that your life at the determined, this is often misguided. At the soul level, each one of you decided on your lessons, whether they be easy or difficult, because you're understanding at the time of the lessons, you are remembering, perhaps it's been a couple hundred years and you're remembering, oh, okay, that life was so brief and it was easy. And oh yeah, I can do this. I can come over grief. I can come over the realization of, I lost a child, and as losing a child, that will cause me to wake up. So you're like, yeah, give me all of it. That is free will. That is free will. So, and if you decided on the other side to be a teacher, then your soul is going to guide you to find ways for you to become that teacher that you agreed to. And so you may just know innately, hey, I want to teach. You may think in your heart, that's the last thing I want to do. And so circumstances will happen that you feel like you just stumbled into it. You feel like this is the last thing I wanted to do, but it feels right. So as you go throughout your day, you deciding whether you want to feel that stub toe in the morning and have it wreck your day, or if you feel like when you stubbed your toe, that was just a little reminder to slow down, and it certainly isn't going to hinder your day any. So that vibration you put out, that energy you put out is free will. And the universe will mirror back that free will. That is free will. So if you mirror love from your heart, love will mirror back to you. That is free will. You have the choice. You have the choice to decide how you perceive. How you perceive is your choice. It's free will. How you perceive is free will.
And to our listeners, if you have any questions, feel free to put them in the live chat or the comments section. Xand, why is it then that some people struggle to manifest what they desire?
Because desire has a frequency all in its own. Desire and want will keep what you think you want at bay. Number two, sometimes what you desire or want isn't what's best for you. But normally it just means it's not time yet. So there's like a yield sign. And so instead of trusting and putting out the energy that your life is beautiful and you see the best way to get that which you desire is to begin to use your imagination and act it out. And so for many people, let's say what they really desire is a spouse, it's a partner. So how can they act out a spouse or partner? They can just simply think to themselves, higher self, give me a way that I can act out that I already have this perfect spouse. I already have this partner. And maybe you decide, your imagination takes you and you think, oh, I'm going to dress up. I'm going to set a table for two. I'm going to cook for two. And if he or she doesn't show up, I will take that other meal and have it for dinner tomorrow night. But that is what my imagination gave me in this moment, is that I'm cooking a dinner for two. So if you go into not just the feeling, but the action that it is real with from what you receive your imagination, then that reality is there.
Okay, thank you. Are we entering a new era of consciousness?
Mm-hmm. Yes, the era that you are entering is already so, meaning that at this time, the consciousness has lifted up, and so the new era of awakened consciousness is here. It is not that. It's not that. Is it coming? No, it is. It is here. And so many of you are seeing so many systems fall, so many systems crumble around you. And you're like, well, how can consciousness be rising if all these structures are falling? And we say, let them fall. Because once they are down, the new will have a chance to come up and take root and take hold. So this is a way for the new to come up. It is slowly coming up. Yes, it's coming up. New structures, new way of, and you can look at it just through podcast. And if you think of podcasts all by themselves, how it's like a new wave thing. And so people are turning less. Think of movies. They're turning less into the old ways of movies and going to theaters and in many situations, and more they're getting their news, their information on things like podcasts. So this is a new structure, and the old is crumbling. And for many of you, you see it playing in your politics as well.
Wonderful. We do have a question from a listener. How do we get past fear when trying to move forward? And that's a good question, because I was just looking at another one that said, what is the relationship between fear and creation?
So we would say how to get one past fear is to realize where the fear is coming from. So realize fear is coming from your perception. It is coming from your mind. It is coming from the ego. Fear is the opposite of love. Love is from source. Love is from your higher self. So that is it in a nutshell. But let us give you some tools for your tool belt. Let us give you the simple tool BET, B-E-T. And down below is your thoughts, your words, and where does your thoughts and words come? Like, I'm afraid to go swimming in the deep ocean because I can't swim. Well, that is from your emotions, right? From your emotions are telling you, ooh, swimming in deep ocean is scary. Well, where does those? So think of emotions as the E. So we're doing the word backwards, B-E-T. We're starting with the T at the bottom. And you can think of the word bet, B-E-T, the B on top, the E in the middle, and the T down below. So now you have this fear, the fear of swimming in the ocean. It comes from a belief. Where is that belief from? It is from a limiting belief. Fear is from a limiting belief. And so you can take that fear and say, I am scared to go swimming in the ocean because I don't know how to swim. Oh, yet I can learn how to swim. And when I learn how to swim, then I can swim in the ocean. I can place a life jacket on me and I can swim in the ocean. So taking that fear and just rewording it is one way. So change the limiting beliefs is another way to rid of the fear. But there are other ways to rid of this fear, to understand the most basic way that we can give you for you to get rid of fear is to know the truth. The truth is this life is an illusion. And if it is fear-based, you have bought in to the illusion. If it is negative, you have bought into the illusion because fear is not real. So for instance, let's say someone held you up at gunpoint and they actually shot and killed you. You actually didn't die. Your soul, they cannot hurt your soul. That little body you had wasn't eternal anyway. Why? Because it is not real. So if it is not real, it is not eternal. Negative feelings such as fear isn't real. This is probably the biggest key takeaway we can give you on fear. Fear is not real. It's buying into that you think you're separate from your soul, your eternal soul that is with God, your eternal soul that is with all that there is. So your eternal soul said, I'm going to play the earth game and I'm going to feel fear. But then I'm going to realize that it's not real. And what is real is love. What is real is joy. What is real is the moment. What is real is those higher frequency feelings. It is like you have a choice every day. When you have energy, you can choose love or you can choose fear. It is your pond. If you choose fear, know that those ripples, your energy rippling out like in a pond, are going to come back to you and echo more fear. If you decide, I know fear is an illusion, and to go forward with that, then you can put out positive ripples, and positive ripples will come back.
That's wonderful. I'm going to ask one last question because I know we'll have to wrap up here in a minute. What gives Spirit the most hope for humanity's future?
It might be a different answer than you think. And it is that we are one. We are one consciousness. We can see through time and space and time. For time is not really real in our plane. And we can see peace on earth. And to answer when is peace on earth, we at this time don't want to lead you down a rabbit hole. It is to understand that in every moment there is a new you. And the more that you ripple positive love, the more positive, peaceful earth you go to, and the quicker you go. So let this be an incentive, if you desire one, to have one, to understand the more love you have in your heart, the more you do everything with love, the more positive ripple you give out, the more positive ripple comes to you, and that peace within you creates peace on earth.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
So at this time, we would leave you with one more thought with that peace on earth. Peace is from a soul at the time to find peace on earth. Imagine a earth where your health services is free and equal. Imagine an earth where free energy resides. Imagine an earth that each individual gets to participate in what they enjoy doing, and each one has equal in their because they know that with one consciousness, all souls are equal. And now, in peace within themselves, discovering that peace, they are eternal, discovering that peace, that their self-worth is beyond human, this human limitations. Your self-worth is immeasurable. And you are more powerful, glorious beings than you can possibly imagine. So imagine the peace within you creating peace on the planet. It happens one ripple at a time. We thank you for allowing us to service you in this way. We thank you for allowing One Consciousness to be here to speak and to service. Woo!
Wow. Every time we do this, I think about the first time and just seeing the difference in you and then as MonaLisa and then the difference as Xand coming in. It just gets to me. It's great.
Well, I'm glad you get to witness it. It's kind of harder for me. So so I'm on this side of it, and it is all but a dream to me. So when I channel, so let's leave the listeners by I'm going to ask who's ever listening or who listens to this in the future, simply drop into your heart space. This is how I want you to leave, and think of something that brings you joy or laughter or love, and take that thought with you for the remainder of your day. A thought of joy, laughter, and love. And let your ripple be a beautiful, beautiful, loving ripple in our pond. So thank you, everyone.
Have a great day. Thanks.
Thank you for joining us on the Soul Navigators Podcast. And we hope today's journey supports you in your own awakening and connection to one consciousness. If this episode resonated, we'd love for you to follow the show and share it with someone who would benefit from this work. To go deeper, visit soulnavigators.academy, and you can find all of my books on Amazon. Until next time, remember, we're walking this path together.